Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
I love sports.
Sports.
When it comes to Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men. We will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
And they embody what the school is about. It's about getting into hard situations and getting ourselves out. It's about working hard. It's about doing amazing things.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
So should we bring the off-the-air conversation on the air?
It's never really stopped me before.
Right. No, not that topic.
Oh.
Not your browser history. No, so there's not a lot of stuff going on. I mean, unless you want to talk about, like, hearings and the same, like, we're going to do it from time to time because it's the news of the day. But there isn't a lot of news right now. Baseball's done.
Yeah.
Okay? Football, when we can start doing these topics that are, going to get us geared up for football. Thank goodness for Kay Nagley, though. The ace reporter who is just kicking tail at everything she does. She's fantastic. She gives us a little bit of information, some news on Jamie Morrison. News fresh off the heels of the program's first ever national championship. Texas A&M Volleyball's Jamie Morrison becomes the third highest paid NCAA volleyball coach in the country in 2026. He'll start at a base salary of $650,000 in his 5-year contract with the Aggies. He made $295,000 as a base in 2025. More details to come. Let's go, Jamie.
Can't say he hadn't earned it. That run to the national championship was so exciting last year. Like I've told you before, first of all, my wife got us to go out and watch them play Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Then she became a complete convert, went to some other games. Then when they went to Kansas City, she and her sister and niece all flew up there for that. So I would expect they're going to be a lot more, even better attended. I think they won over a lot of fans, and we don't get national championships around here all the time. It does make me wonder, what's the deal that our man Mark Weaver's going to get.
Oh, right. Well, a couple things about both of those guys who will be at our preseason kickoff. If you haven't signed up for it yet, go to the premium board. You can get all the information there. But we'll start with Jamie. We can work our way to Mark. But Jamie had a vision when he got here. He laid out that vision. He did it on this show many times. He told us during the offseason that he thought this team could win a national championship that year.
Yeah.
They had the hardest road to go through to win a national championship. They beat down apparently the greatest team ever, the 1927 Yankees, on their way to this national championship against Nebraska, right?
Yeah. Nebraska fans were all at the national championship game because they had all bought tickets just assuming that Nebraska was going to be there.
And they just did it. Likeable, energetic, sells the program, sells the sport, has a national background because he's coached the national team. He's done everything, and it's really just such a short window that he's done it in. 3 years.
Yeah, you know what? I hope that another coach can win a national championship in 3 years.
Imagine doubling your salary, bro. How great would that be? You
Man.
go from, $50 to $100.
I can start making $20 an hour. Yeah, heck yeah, I'll take it.
You'll get the 64-ounce catalyst. Not the, what is that, 12-ounce, 16-ounce? What is that?
I don't even know how many ounces.
Well, he's a catalyst, Jamie Morrison.
12 ounces. Of course, 12 ounces. This is Texas A&M, by the way, 12.
12, yeah.
It's kind of a big number around here. 12 ounces of pure energy.
Well,
but we'll get pure performance energy. We'll get to that later.
I don't know Coach Weaver's details. I don't know any of that, so maybe we can sick ace reporter Kay Nagley on that. But another guy, and he does it in a different way. He's, what did I call him? Did I call him a ninja? Is that what you guys remember?
Mark Weaver?
Yeah, he's kind of quiet.
Yeah, you
and
called Mark Weaver a ninja.
Yeah, he's in, I think I compared him to Liam Neeson, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
In Taken.
You
right?
did.
You just don't want to piss him off. Very nice.
He does have a particular set of skills.
Yeah, very nice. He does have that switch when he needs to, but it's not like it's a Michael Corleone switch, not a Tony Montana switch.
Okay.
You know how Michael Corleone didn't
He's always cool,
calm, and collect. Tony would, he killed his brother, his best friend. He killed him.
One killed his best friend, one killed his brother.
Yeah, I guess they both did it too. Yeah. But one did it on the beautiful lake.
Yes, that's true.
And he had somebody else do it.
Yeah.
He didn't just walk in and pow.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Fredo didn't know it was coming.
Weaver's not a killer in that sense, but he's a killer coach.
He's like a shark.
Okay.
In fact, they should just play that Jaws music every time he walks. His team goes out there.
But unassumingly, he's just nice.
I saw him in the gym the other day.
He goes to the gym daily.
Yeah. Well,
the Daily Weaver.
I saw him in there, and he just comes over and has a conversation like anybody would on the street. Like, hey, how you doing? Just the nicest guy.
He's great.
But, boy, he knows how to assemble a tennis team. In fact, I think he told me that, no, he didn't tell me this. Didn't they, in the last month, add, one of the best tennis players in the country?
They added a significant player, yeah. So let's turn now to a sport that you kind of like, football.
I love football. I love everything about football.
We're not going to do which is the hardest month of the season. We kind of are, but we're not. All right? Because it's always November, right?
Yeah, around here especially.
Yep. So CBS Sports did the toughest stretch, the 10 toughest stretches in college football. Okay. And Reese, if you can pull up that, I don't have what the other teams were, but A&M came up at number 8.
Okay.
And the stretch that it says, it's the Tennessee, Oklahoma, Texas stretch, which is, and for them, a stretch is 3 games. Okay. I don't disagree. I mean, that's how you close out. No, they're at the end of the last few Novembers. We've had that layup at the end, if you will. There's no layup at the end of this one. I mean, Oklahoma is going to be potentially a top 10 team. You got to go to Norman. Texas is obviously Texas. I think there's questions about Tennessee. I might argue. I don't know if I'm ready to go there, but if I wanted to be a contrarian, OB, I might say that at Alabama, at South Carolina, Tennessee stretch. If I just wanted to argue. You've had a hard time at South Carolina. You've had a hard time at Alabama. And again, I think Tennessee is such an unknown, and they're kind of involved in both.
Well, they're both. So, yeah. So you're saying is Alabama and South Carolina potentially more difficult than Texas
at home and at Oklahoma.
First of all, Texas is stronger than South Carolina no matter where.
No matter what. But we know A&M has struggled at South Carolina the last 2 times. Very hard place to play.
Yeah.
Alabama, they're not Saban's Alabama.
Alabama, Oklahoma. Who do you think is going to be better this year, Alabama or Oklahoma?
I think Oklahoma.
Okay, there's your answer.
But I'm not 100% sure.
Well, none of us are 100% sure. In 6 months, everybody's going to be telling us how lame and easy A&M schedule was, just like last year.
You guys played Arizona State. They're in the Big 12. They haven't beat anybody.
Well, last year they were saying, all you did was play LSU, and all you did was play.
Yeah, but LSU sucks, bro.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what they did. That's what they said. So
we don't know anything right now.
Of course, I would tend to agree with them off the top of my head. The stretch that's
the hardest stretch
that moves me to think it's going to be more difficult is the Texas. I don't think Tennessee's going to be very good.
I don't either, but people Texas, who know them way better than me, and national guys, kind of believe in them.
Okay. I mean, I don't think they're going to be, like Mississippi State last year, which, by the way,
they're pretty good at the
end. Yeah. They gave A&M had to earn it.
Texas had to come back.
Needed a miracle.
Yep.
Or whoever's the worst team, Kentucky, which Texas had to earn it because no games are easy in the SEC.
Right.
I think they're going to be a middle of the road SEC team. Tennessee.
Which means, just like any SEC team, they can come here and beat you.
Sure they can. Everybody can beat you. It's funny, and I'm getting off topic, but for years I'd be having conversations with my friends over in Austin, Cedric Golden, Kirk Bowles, other guys, and I'd tell them, look, just don't get it. And now they're talking about how tough the schedule is.
Now
I said, what did I tell you?
They really get it.
Well, when they see it with their own eyes, they go over there and get their butts, not Cedric and Kirk, but they sit there on ice. Texas goes over there and gets their butts handed to them by Florida, and then escapes by the second most colossal choke job of the season in the second half against Mississippi State, and then had to get crazy lucky. I think wasn't there a real strange call by
Kentucky?
By Stoops in the Kentucky game, so they needed that to get by Kentucky. Maybe that's why they hired him, Stoops. Hey, dude, you helped us win last year. Maybe
we're gonna hook you up. If we were to break up the season into quarters, which is very easy to do, right?
Okay.
Toughest stretch, does it go in reverse order? So if Nick can put up the schedule again, does it kind of, I don't know if it does. I'm just talking out loud. So Texas, Oklahoma, Tennessee. Okay, that's one stretch. We said that's the hardest. The next stretch, Citadel, at South Carolina, at Alabama, Citadel. Next stretch, Missouri, Arkansas, LSU. First stretch, Kentucky, Arizona State, Missouri. The hardest stretches are in the second half of the year. There is definitely a hard stretch there at, not hard, but an interesting stretch. It's September 28th through October the 10th at LSU, Arkansas, at Missouri.
Okay, if you take it in 3-game intervals, the hardest stretch would be that
first stretch,
Tennessee, Oklahoma, and Texas.
Yep.
The second hardest stretch to me would be that stretch that says LSU, Arkansas, and at Missouri.
Yep.
2 road games. Missouri is always pretty good. I think they'll still be good this year. Not great good. LSU, hey, everybody's talking about LSU being in the. Now, I think Arkansas is going to be. Arkansas might be the worst team in the league, but Arkansas is still better than the Citadel, except back in 2000. I mean, back in like 90 something when the Citadel beat them. Yeah, it really happened.
Wow.
It did like 10-6, 10-7, and Jack Crow got fired the next Monday. So anyway, so much for the history lesson. So that's the second stretch, and then of course Alabama, the Citadel,
South Carolina, Alabama, yeah,
and then to open.
So the first stretch is, which is typically the case.
Yeah.
Arizona State, I don't know. I know they brought in a lot of guys, and that sometimes works.
But they lost a lot of guys.
They lost a lot of guys. They brought in a lot of guys, and they're apparently happy with what they brought in. I don't know many teams that aren't happy with what they brought in.
I can't say anything about. I don't know Arizona State, but I also don't know any team anywhere that in June is telling people, look, guys, we brought in a bunch of guys. They suck. So just prepare yourself because we're going to stink because we brought in all these guys and we were so inept and incompetent in our evaluation that, we've got a lost cause.
We do have some more details on Jamie Morrison's contract. I'm just trying to find out. You know what? I'll allow Reese Nygren to do that part of the conversation so I don't have to read on air so he can get it ready when we go to him. We should probably do the whole thing now.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so let's reverse the order, though.
Okay.
So call us, the Catalyst.
You want to call us?
Or text us.
On the text line. Oh, yeah. You can text us. This is because we always do Catalyst last.
Yeah.
But we're doing it completely right.
Yeah.
So if you want to be part of the show, you can text us on the Catalyst Pure Performance Energy text line. That number,
979-693-1150, or you can call us on the Buppy's Catering and
Bartending
hotline, 979-693-1150. Obie, this hour has a name.
Oh, yeah, it's the Go Hour.
That's presented by who?
Warehouse CC Creations.
Currently, we are relaxing in a place that we call
the Holistic Planning Cool Zone.
Muy cool aquí.
Yeah.
And I love this little studio. It's not even little. This palatial studio that we have.
Yes, very spacious.
What do we call it?
We call that the Rollo Insurance Studio.
Jason, Jackson, Keith, Morgan.
I would say Morgan, Keith.
Oh, yeah.
Jason or Jackson, Jason.
Yeah.
Everything's backwards, right?
Uh-huh. And now we talk about the gem of a guy who helped to build this program.
Yeah, Gardner/David.
David Gardner's Jewelers, where tradition meets elegance.
And elegance meets tradition.
We go around the room. We're going to keep this in order. Left to right, behind the glass, is the Director of the Year, Nick Savage. Nick, good morning, buddy.
Howdy, good morning, y'all.
What's up, yo?
Well, I was going to give you some Jamie Morrison details, but since Reese is going to take that, I'll give you something I know Reese doesn't know. I got Mark Weaver contract details just because y'all were talking about it. And this is all via Kay Nagley of course. She just sits back here and reads contracts all day, like 750 pages. She's just flipping through. But anyway, she sent me Mark Weaver's details since y'all were talking about it. He signed an extension back in 2025 that bumped him $50,000. So he went from $200,000 annually to $250,000 annually. That contract expires next year, actually, June 30th, 2027. So I would assume, I don't know anything, but I would assume something else is going to get done over there to keep the Dreamweaver around.
Sounds like you got to give him another $50,000 at least, right?
That's my guy.
If one national championship got you a $50 bump, a $50,000 bump.
Yeah.
It stands to reason. Some would even argue that it should get him a $100,000 bump.
I like all of our coaches. And if I didn't, I promise you you would know.
Let me see if there's somebody I don't like. I actually interviewed.
There was a guy you didn't like towards the end.
There's a bunch of coaches I haven't liked.
Yeah, this is true. We don't need to go down that list.
I detested several, and I don't mind saying
and they didn't like you either.
Yeah, and I don't mind saying them, Buzz. Kevin. And one toward the end that I never.
He wanted to fire you.
I never yeah, he wanted to fire. Yeah, I detest that one too. I never had anything. I liked Jimbo. I liked him. I thought he was a nice person. He just got to the point where I think he got lazy and then did not have the X's and O's to figure out his problem. X's and O's knowledge, which surprised me because, scheme doesn't matter. But yeah, I'm trying to think of what coach that on the staff that I don't like right now.
Steve Denton, awesome dude. I don't know if you know Steve.
I've met him. He's a very pleasant guy.
Trisha Ford, I love her. That's my homie.
She's great.
Right? We already talked Jamie. We already talked Mark.
The golf coaches.
Oh.
I've never met the
Brian Corton is incredible.
I really like Pat
Gary
Henry.
Chadwell, Pat Henry. Yeah.
Pat and I, we typically have a nice conversation every week before he comes on. I like Elko. I don't know how much Elko likes me.
Elko likes you.
Hey, we'll see.
Early's fantastic. Bucky, that's my dude. Yeah.
Bucky, I like Joni.
We got some people.
Good coaches.
Did we skip anybody? Did anybody we skip?
Yeah, I'm sure. The soccer coach, I sat down and had a conversation with him and wrote an article about him.
Bobby's great.
And I liked him.
Bobby Shuttleworth.
I liked him.
Yeah, he's my. And speaking of soccer,
he's such a good guy. They named an airport for him in Birmingham.
Is there a Shuttleworth airport?
Shuttleworth.
Oh, I didn't know that. There's soccer coming up this weekend.
Yeah, is Bobby going to be out there?
He may watch.
You know what?
He's not. He doesn't.
The wife, her father, was from Rotan, Honduras.
Honduras.
So, if you're a white guy like me, it's Honduras. All right.
I just wanted you to say it like
it's Honduras against Argentina, and so she's rooting for Honduras.
Okay, all right. Let's do a Spanish lesson. Let's try. Honduras.
Y
Argentina.
What? Argentina. Argentina.
No, try to do the he. Argentina.
Argentina.
Okay, never mind. Let's go to the angry elephant. News and social center.
Here's the deal. I like Reese.
Do you?
I do.
Thank you.
I like Reese so much that I had a flash of a crack line I could have put on somebody, and I didn't. And then I thought, no, Reese is too nice a guy. But when Nick came on and he said, I know Reese is going to talk about this, so I want to talk about something Reese doesn't know anything about, and I wanted to say, because this was just a joke. See, so now it doesn't count. I was going to interject. I was going to say, what are you going to talk about? Going on a date with a girl? But Reese, I know that's not the case. I just, at the time, I thought, what if?
Why did you say the word a girl?
Woman?
Or a woman? Never mind.
Wow.
Because he's from LaGrange. And they got a lot of nice girls there.
Can you get Reese to try to pronounce the Spanish stuff? He might sound whiter than OB.
I will sound, I will sound whiter than OB, even though I took 4 years of Spanish in high school.
Let's try. Honduras.
Honduras.
No,
that was way better than OB. Argentina. Oh my God, this guy's Latino.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
I don't go to those meetings.
Reese Lopez.
You'd think I'd be better at it after 20
being married.
Years. Yeah.
Do you have those details for us?
Yeah, so I do have some of those details about Jamie Morrison's contract. So he was expected to make $305,000 this year, and obviously we mentioned that gets upgraded to $650,000 this year. His base salary will increase $10,000 each year. Some of the incentives that he will get: if his team wins the SEC regular season championship, he will get a $50,000 increase.
Market.
If his team wins the national championship, he will get a $100,000 increase. Final Four, $75,000. Elite Eight, $50,000. It goes down $25,000 as you get shallower into the NCAA tournament. If he is named Coach of the Year by the ABCA, he will get a $20,000 payment. SEC Coach of the Year, $10,000.
Market.
Very, very incentive-based contract as
He's
well.
a hell of a coach.
He is a hell of a coach. It's 8:20. Let's do one more update because we're way late.
Yeah, so Texas A&M pitcher Clayton Freshcorn was named a finalist for the Stopper of the Year award announced by the National College Baseball Writers Association. In his 27 appearances, Freshcorn had a 2.82 ERA with a whip just north of 1 in 54 and a third innings pitched, racking up 12 saves, which is good for 6th nationally this year, and was the third most in a single season in school history. The winner of the award will be announced next Friday in Omaha.
You know, I love fresh corn. You know what I love more than fresh corn? Succulent brisket.
You went straight there.
Yeah, I knew that's what we were going.
Yeah. But how do we talk about it without it being the normal, the jokes, like, hey, this is what you get. Like, we've taken people to eat there. We've broken bread.
Yeah. Make him say the Spanish version of the barbecue there.
Barbacoa.
Ribs. Costilla.
Ribs.
Never mind. Let's just stick with
I already say queso mac and cheese. What do you want over there?
Can you try to say it? Queso. Mac and cheese.
Queso mac and cheese.
What's your favorite thing to order if the succulent brisket is not available?
To be honest, if that wasn't available, I would probably go with either, because it'd be depending on that day. Either the jalapeno cheese sausage, which I really like a lot, or those tasty pork ribs.
Yeah.
I love pork ribs. Ribs. I love porco ribs.
America's been very good to me.
Okay, Chico.
Let's say you got to order a side, okay?
See?
Okay. What are you ordering again?
Queso mac and queso.
Queso mac and queso. The website is I'm hitting a break. 1775txbbq.com. 979-492-6241. It's 1775.
Oh, it's bueno.
Hey everyone, David Nuño here of TexAgs Live. I want to introduce you to the team at Holistic Planning. Got Jason Barber here, Taylor Pankratz, and also Paul Meredith. Jason, I want to start off with you. What really sets Holistic Planning apart from the others?
Yeah, so what makes us different is most financial advisors stop at investment management. On the other hand, Holistic Planning, we manage investments, taxes, and estate planning all on one team, all underneath one roof.
Now, Taylor, when everything is coordinated like that, it really helps the bottom line, doesn't it?
It really does. When your investments and taxes are working together, you stop leaving money on the table and keep more of what's yours.
Paul, Holistic Planning is trying to expand as well.
That's true. We just opened our Houston office, and we're looking for people who feel like their advisor isn't seeing the full picture, because that's exactly what we fix.
And Jason, there's other opportunities beyond that.
Definitely. If you're a financial advisor and you want to join the Holistic Planning team, we're looking to add 50 teams in the next 5 to 10 years. So check out holisticplanning.com/advisors.
All right, so if you want a team that actually coordinates everything, go to holisticplanning.com. Aggies, this one is worth it. Obe y Nuño. Estamos aquí on the Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. Obi, I sometimes read only like the meme stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna read a nice thing.
Okay.
All right. Here's a nice thing. James Ellis. We got to help this guy out. Okay. We really got to help him out. After hearing this comment, we got to help him out. My two favorite people on earth, Nuño and Obi. Brother, we got to introduce you to some folks. But thank you.
I have family that I can't break into their top two. I don't even think I would in the top two for Irma. In fact, I would bet against it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I'm in many people's top two.
Yeah, in fact, I'm probably not in the top 10.
Yeah. If there was 8 people, I'd probably be 10th.
If there's 8, yeah.
Yeah. And you know, the guy that we're about to go to at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center, we're not in his top 2. Those guys do the afternoon show, the B Team show.
Okay.
He is all in on Zane and Bronny. It's the cool, fun show to be a part of. We're the old folks that don't know how to have real fun. They know how to be analytical. They know how to be edgy, cutthroat.
I never said any of this.
No, I know. I just want to add
false accusations here.
Reese Nygren, you wanted to continue the dialogue, program director, on what we did not get to in the toughest stretch.
Yeah, so obviously that A&M toughest 3-game stretch was a part of an article from CBS Sports, so I figured I might as well read off the other ones that made the list. Couple of Big Ten schools here at the top. Number 1 is Northwestern. Their toughest 3-game stretch, according to CBS Sports, is at Oregon versus Iowa and at Ohio State.
Yeah, that should be pretty difficult.
Yeah.
Iowa might be the Big Ten's equivalent to Tennessee.
Yeah.
I mean, they were good last year. They're usually pretty good, not great, pretty good. You gotta show up to play, ready to play.
Yeah. Who else?
Number 2 is Iowa. Their toughest 3-game stretch is at Michigan versus Ohio State and at Washington.
You never know what Washington's going to be.
Sorry.
You never know what Washington's going to be. They're good. They're solid.
Big Ten's getting a lot of love here.
Yeah, but following the back-to-back Big Ten schools,
what's Michigan going to be?
We have back-to-back SEC schools. Number 3 is LSU. Their toughest is versus Alabama versus Texas and at Tennessee.
Okay.
Hold on. Versus Alabama versus Texas at Tennessee.
Again, I don't.
Okay.
I mean, Alabama's always good.
All 3 of those are in November.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. What else?
Number 4, Mississippi State. Theirs is at LSU versus Oklahoma and at Texas.
Seems hard.
Okay.
Number 5 is Auburn at Georgia versus LSU and at Ole Miss. I feel like that one should be higher up on the list.
Okay.
You know, it's starting to be like wallpaper. They all sound hard.
Or have you mentioned anybody that's in the Big 12 or the ACC yet?
I have not, and
did they make the cut?
I will not mention anybody.
Is that a choice? Or
Arizona is the first Big 12 team on the list, and they come in at number 13. Theirs is at Texas Tech versus TCU and versus Utah.
This Big 12's hardish.
Right behind them is the first ACC school, that is Florida State at number 14, with at Louisville, at Miami, and versus Clemson.
I'm still thinking about that Arizona schedule. It's
daunting, isn't it?
Hey, we probably should hit a break here. I'm going to read this commentary because it just had me kind of chuckle to myself. The original houseman on the YouTube page says, Olin looking like a Ukrainian bodega owner. I don't know if you can visualize it, but I totally visualize it.
Ukrainian?
Yeah, you just got to have a Ukrainian accent. I can see you like trying to sell whatever they sell at bodegas.
You mean like the taco place up in Tower Point?
No, not that place. No, like a real bodega. I can see you selling jewelry at a place too.
Ukrainian though.
Yeah, you know.
Do I look like Zelensky?
No, not Zelensky, but you look like a bad guy, probably on one of the diehards.
I like that. I'm a bad guy.
One of the diehard bad guys.
Yeah.
After a couple of years after what happened.
I don't want to be Hans Gruber falling about 100 stories to his death.
That you could be Hans if he survived the fall.
Hey, I just want to survive next fall and get through November undefeated. That'd be surviving the fall.
Way to keep the show on track. I appreciate that. We're going to hit a break. When we come back, we will talk football. Marcel Reed, you wrote something about him the other day.
Yeah, I like Marcel.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little Marcel with you. So when we do the Ukrainian Bodega Heritage film, we're going to talk about his upbringing. We're going to talk about all the influences, all the black eyes he gave people.
The what?
The black eyes he gave people.
I heard it too, OB.
All right, the Theo Mellon Orchard thing that I said a couple years ago, and now this. All right. Am I going to be a topic on The View? So when they do my heritage film, The Rise and Fall of David Nuño on TexAgs, keep it on OB, please. What? Black eyes. Not ice.
Not ice.
Just call Chance McClain up and ask him about black eyes at 713-893-8341. Actually ask him about that or go to yourheritagefilm.com. He probably won't know what you're talking about, but he'll laugh. Welcome back to our Relaxed TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio, The Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. Olin, you wrote a nice article on Marcel Reed, and I'm gonna kind of label it. Mm-hmm. We know that not the entire season rests on Marcel Reed, but a improved Marcel Reed allows A&M to improve on the momentum that they started last year.
We think so, and I think Marcel will be improved because it'll be his second year as a full-time starter. Whatever job you had, you were probably better in your second year than you were in your first. Mm-hmm. Probably. I know I was. I don't want to speak for you, David, but you probably were.
You know what? Part of the reason is that, I'm going to speak for myself, maybe for you too. Early in your career, you overthink things. You have to work harder at things that maybe aren't as important for it to look like a certain way. When that becomes second nature, right? When you can look at a topic and throw it like you, I'm sitting with you in the press box, and I know how your mind works, how quickly you can come up with an angle. And then you get to be able to be creative and work at it. For Marcel in the pocket, for any quarterback in the pocket, in the beginning, everybody's moving at so fast. How do you process that information? Well, the only way you get better at processing that information is either you're born with it and or you go through the reps. And Marcel's been able to go through now a year and a half of reps.
Yeah, and so there's so many national analysts and even regional SEC, they just say, this is who Marcel is. He's not going to get better. Mm-hmm. And I don't understand that. Look, if you say, I think he's going to be a bad quarterback, okay, that's fine. Maybe he will be. But just to dismiss the possibility of he's getting better. So I got to thinking, well, the best quarterbacks, theoretically, over the last several years are the ones that win the Heisman Trophy. Mm-hmm. And the Heisman Trophy winner almost always is a quarterback. I think 5 times in the last 7 years, I think. Mm-hmm. So I just was wondering, what did the Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks, I looked at the last 5, what did they do the year before they win the Heisman? Not to say that means if he gets better, Marcel Reed's going to win the Heisman, even though we know that he was a legitimate contender going into the last game of the regular season, and that wasn't by TexAgs. That was by guys like Josh Pate, and I think it might have been CBS Sports,
everybody, ESPN had him. Yeah.
So I wanted to see what those previous Heisman Trophy winners did the previous year. And Marcel actually had better numbers than each Heisman Trophy winner had his previous year. Mm-hmm. He had more passing yardage. He had more touchdowns. He also had more interceptions. I looked at, say, for instance, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, so I can't tell you, but Fernando Mendoza at Cal, his final year at Cal before he went to Indiana, threw for around, I want to say, 2,900 yards. Not bad. I think he had about 17 touchdowns. Solid. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't the next year.
Right.
He kind of blew up. And you can go in, there are other, even Joe Burrow. The year before he won the Heisman, very good numbers, but not
what he did in 2019. Yeah.
So does that mean that Marcel Reed is going to go from what he was last year to being like Joe Burrow? No. But it's just to illustrate the idea that it's really not that big a stretch to expect your quarterback to make significant improvement.
OB, we can probably mentally go through the games, but we know that he needs to turn the ball over less, right?
Yeah, that's number one.
But I also think there's a Jekyll and Hyde part of Marcel's game that shows up often, which is you'll watch a game in the first half, you're like, what is he doing? And then he'll have a great second half, or vice versa, right? Like, so either he figures it out, or they change something that makes him more comfortable. In the South Carolina game, they sped it up. He was more locked in. There was obviously 2 different halves. The Miami game was the Miami game, all right? That just was a game. I think even in the Texas game, he was better in the first half than he was in the second half, but in the second half, he had his best stretch, which when, except he had the interceptions at the end.
Here's what I would tell Marcel if I was his quarterback coach. The first thing I'd tell him is, don't look for the big plays. Make the right plays, and the big plays will come.
Mm-hmm.
And I think about Texas, and I think I saw opportunities for him to have open receivers on a check down throw or an opportunity to run and pick up yards. And yet, you might have thrown deep when you didn't have to. I think about the glaring one that everybody remembers is when they still had the lead against Texas, and you're looking at I think it was 3rd and 2,
mm-hmm.
and it looks like he checked into. I don't know. I've never asked the question, but it looked like he might have checked into. Maybe they had a deal. If you see Casey Concepcion in man coverage, you automatically throw a deep fade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it wasn't the time. Just to understand, just do what it takes sometimes to make the play that needs to be made, and the big plays will come.
Let's just for a moment play a game.
Okay.
Everything is the same. A&M still loses to Miami.
Okay.
But he throws a touchdown pass instead of an interception at the end, and they just lose in overtime.
Okay.
Are we talking about him differently? That one play.
Yeah, maybe.
I think we are.
Maybe.
And
look, I thought he had an excellent year last year. I thought he was excellent because I'm talking about the whole year. The last 2 games were not excellent. In fact, I don't think he played that well against Samford, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
But I think A&M as a whole didn't.
Okay. And I also do you remember what we were saying here about a year ago? Before Marcel became, because there was a lot of doubt about Marcel heading into last season, right? Just as much doubt as we're hearing now, but we've seen much more body of work. But the conversation that we were saying is like, go look at the 24 season. Marcel put his team in positions to win. Was it the 3 of the last few games were not the Texas game, but the USC game, the Auburn game. There were several games down the stretch that he put his team at the end with a chance to win, and then the defense kind of folded. So we have seen him execute great down the stretch as well, if you look at the entire body of work.
Oh, yeah, I saw him execute great down the stretch against South Carolina. I thought he executed great down the stretch against Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there are other games. Again, he threw the touchdown pass to nail it down against Auburn, and then he had a receiver downfield. I think this time last year, you say, look, I think Marcel's going to throw for 3,000 yards and 30 touchdowns, but I didn't factor in all the interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
He threw for 3,100 yards and probably about 26, 27 touchdowns. He was pretty much who I thought he was going to be. And I don't think that required any great insight on I think anybody that just looked at it objectively could expected that from him. And now I expect him to be better. And one of the ways he needs to be better, and he knows this, is I would start the line that starts is you cut your interception total in half. I think 6 would be acceptable.
Yeah.
And you know what? I talked about all the Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks, and the most any of those threw interceptions the year before they won the Heisman, the most was 6.
The most they threw was 6.
Right.
Wow.
So that they didn't have that issue, but they weren't necessarily as productive so they had to work on getting more productive. In a way, you would say Marcel has to get less destructive.
Yeah.
Because those turnovers, can be destructive.
Yep. All right, we'll hit a break here. When we come back on TexAgs Live, we'll go to Reese Niker and we'll get to your messages. We will just chit-chat. We'll close out the go hour. Right now, when the unexpected happens, whether it's a car accident or property damage or business liability, your preparation matters. And hopefully you've got Rollo Insurance Group because they ensure that you're properly covered before crisis strikes. Their independent agents provide consultation across all insurance types, and they give you confidence that details are handled correctly. They've got over 60 offices in the state. They got experts always nearby. You'll get their phone number. They'll know your story. You'll know their story. Their values are big time in those critical moments. And if you need to file a claim, your Rollo agent is going to walk you through each step of the process. Don't wait until disaster strikes to discover the gaps in your coverage. Visit rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. That's rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. Or call them up, 888-44-ROLLO. That's 888-44-ROLLO. We're back. It is TexAgs Live. It's time to bank on it. I don't know what we're going to bank on. Presented by Vera Bank. Honest questions, genuine advice. Go see Joel Jackson and the team. Learn more at verabank.com. OB, bank on something.
Spurs
going to win?
Rebounding.
Huh?
I'm not going to say they're going to win the series, but they're going to win the next game. They're going to rebound with that 7'4" guard. He's a great player.
He is great. All right.
Victor
Wembanyama. Part of the Latino community. Wembanyama. Oh, no, that's Italian. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, he's French.
What community is he actually?
French.
Yeah.
Of. Comment vous appelez-vous? Très bien, merci à vous. Pas mal.
Wembanyama.
Je m'appelle Guillaume.
Soccer bleu.
I speak great French. I'm going to bank on more people at this soccer match than that came for Mexico-Brazil, which is actually, I might be wrong, I might be super
because
wrong.
Messi's going to play?
But I don't know if he's going to play. This is probably the worst bank on, and I've had a lot of bad ones, because Mexico travels, and Mexico's all over Houston, right?
Yeah.
Argentina
you're talking about soccer?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Argentina won the World Cup. Messi's the second biggest player in the world. He is second biggest. Go check at their Instagram followers. Ronaldo dominates.
Put on weight.
That's what we're measuring.
And height. No, I said he's the best. I give him his credit.
There we go.
And he won a World Cup. He deserves it. Now Portugal wins it. Now we have a new conversation piece. But I'm going to bank on it, and I could be totally wrong. More people at the Argentina-Honduras match than came from Mexico-Brazil 2 years ago, which is probably the stupidest thing that I've said this week, and I've said a lot of stupid stuff.
Well,
I haven't looked at any numbers. I might be way off.
Yeah, you probably, because like 2 years ago, Biden was still president, right?
Yeah.
So they can come no matter what.
Ray Snygren.
I had to.
Yeah. Yeah, but then I'm going to get a text in 3, 2, 1.
I had to.
Nygren.
So
you got nothing for me?
I was looking up the attendance of that soccer match, the Mexico
85,
soccer match. Yeah, 85,249. CBS Sports actually did an article yesterday talking about the soccer game this weekend and how they're anticipating over 100,000 people. Curious.
Oh, really? They think over 100,000?
Yeah, they're expecting it to be pretty full at Kyle Field, solely for Messi, whether he plays or not.
But he's not expected to play, right? He got injured recently.
Yeah, he has a lower body injury, is what they're calling it. So,
I should have got credentials.
You should.
I should have got credentials just to go around, hang out, and see if I could get involved in one of the parties, even though it's usually the Brazilians, right? Or the
I think all Latinos party.
Everybody.
But they're the known
Ukrainians
soccer
party?
partiers. Ukraine, I fit right in, right?
Yeah.
I'm the Ukrainian bodega.
Yeah, it's because
why am I saying it like that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Bodega.
Bodega. I'm a Ukrainian bodega owner.
All right. OB?
Yeah.
I hope you have a wonderful weekend.
I hope I do too.
No black eyes.
No black eyes for me.
When we come back, the end of the baseball bunch. The funeral is coming up next as we end that segment for 2026. That's coming up on TexAgs Live. Welcome in, everybody. Hour number 2 of TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. I feel like there's some whispering going on to my left. What was that about?
Why are you screaming?
I did scream. I noticed that too.
I couldn't hear.
Yeah, I noticed it. I noticed it too. I had these moments.
What did he say?
Como? There are these moments where I go very loud sometimes. Okay.
Understandable.
It's like Austin Powers whenever he comes out of the cryogenically frozen chamber when he's having difficulty controlling the volume of his voice.
Yeah, that happens to me sometimes. But I'm just gonna be like.
I thought it was because you were really excited because Methy is coming to College Station tomorrow.
No, not actually. I mean, I'm excited to take my kids to it. Yeah, absolutely. And over the next 2 weeks, my kids are going to watch the 2 greatest soccer players of this era play. So I'm excited about it.
The internal debate that you just had, whether you wanted to go into Ronaldo versus Messi right there.
I don't. I've given Messi his props. He's the best. He's got the World Cup. I think there's a worthy argument if nobody cares about this if Portugal wins, but
they won't.
They won't. But if they did, there would be an argument.
The United States is going to win it all.
That's right.
I hope so. Do you care at all about what we're talking about?
Yeah,
it's the World Cup.
It's World Cup.
It's the World Cup. Okay,
but what I'm just saying is, y'all just told me that Messi's playing tomorrow.
No, we didn't say that.
Okay.
No. I would like to see him though.
I think he's going to be there.
So I'm going to continue the Whisper Hour. Hey guys, let's talk about the state of the A&M baseball program. I'm going to start right to left to work my way to Bronny at the end. Scott Clendenin, after what happened this past weekend, after what has transpired over the last couple of years, how healthy is this A&M baseball program moving into the future?
I think this baseball program's healthy. I think that they are looking to find a pitching coach that will help rectify the issues they had throwing the ball across the plate this year. And also, the lack of success in 2 outs and 2 strikes is not anything that's going to be surprising. You've got to take that step to go forward. But I also say that in this conference, because in the 3rd time in the last 6 years, the defending national champion hasn't made the playoffs or gone to the conference tournament, because if you get behind it in this league, I don't care who you are, you can't make excuses about the people you have and don't have on your team, because we've been told by everybody that doesn't apply. But if you get behind it in season in this league, it's very difficult. And A&M put that behind them and made a run to a regional final, but they need to be better next year. And that's going to be really hard because they finished 3rd in the league this year, and they were a national seed. So if they had been a national seed, a top 8 national seed, and didn't advance, maybe it would be hard to approach that next year. But I think that they can work towards being a top 8 national seed and have just as high a finish in the league as they did this year. That should be their goals for next season.
Richard.
Clear progress this year, right? You go from not making the tournament in 25 and Coach Hurley's first season to Scott's point, being a regional host and being in that conversation to be a top 8 national seed. And it was a fun spring to follow A&M, and obviously it didn't end the way any of us would have liked. But it is an important offseason, right? Scott talked about hiring a pitching coach. There's 2 vacancies, right? Pitching coach and recruiting coordinator after Caleb Longley's resignation in January. And then, of course, you got to go about replacing a core that features 3 All-Americans, 3 projected possible first-rounders in Grahovic, Sorrell, and Akopian. A lot of talent likely leaving the program. But that's always been the case with college athletics. It's only highlighted more so now because of the transfer portal window. So it's a very, very important month that's going to determine the overall health of the program, and we'll see how it falls.
Bronny?
I think when you go forward, you want regular seasons like this past spring. That sets you up for success year in, year out. There are going to be seasons, and I'm always curious of how digestible are runs in the postseason after a bad regular season. The 2017 team comes to mind. Everybody knew that team was extremely limited. They got hot at the right time. They got a great favorable draw in a regional, and then they lucked into a super regional at home against Davidson. And they made it to Omaha. This Texas A&M team got really hot through late March and April, really through all the month of April. They were outstanding. And then the injuries on the pitching side were difficult to overcome, but they still put themselves in a position where they were at least in the discussion for a top 8 national seed at the end of the regular season. that is a sustainable way to run a program to get yourselves to Omaha as often as possible. The parity that we're seeing in college baseball right now is pretty remarkable, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Where you look across these super regionals and you have teams like West Virginia and Kansas and Troy and Little Rock and St. John's, and this is coming off a year where you had Murray State in the College World Series and you had Coastal Carolina play in the finals. This thing is, for whatever reason, I would like to see somebody really dive into this. Why are we seeing so much parity in college baseball when the distance between the haves and the have-nots financially has gotten larger and we're still seeing more parity? So part of it could be just coincidental that it's the game of baseball and that when you get into postseason scenarios, you can have a team like Wisconsin-Milwaukee make it to a regional final when they were awful throughout the year. They started the year 5-22. They were terrible. And they go out in the first game of a regional, and Auburn has their worst day they could possibly have. And Auburn ends up getting out, but a team like Milwaukee can get to a regional final. So I believe that when you look at this season in totality, and I mentioned this yesterday on B Team, as people have slept and we've gotten further and further away from Monday night, I think some sanity is returning to a lot of the takes that I'm seeing. Like, yes, Sunday and Monday stunk. Those were 2 bad days for this baseball team. But the overall direction of the program after this season, you have to say, is an arrow pointing up. There were a lot of changes made from 25 to 26, both in-house in terms of the staff, but also in terms of the expectations of the day-to-day in the program that I think you saw the fruits of them come through throughout the course of the season. How many times did we sit up here and talk about the resilience and toughness of this team, finding ways to respond to adversity? The one time they didn't, it cost them their season.
I think last year about this time, we sat there and we talked about how Coach Early would have to change, how the program would have to be done differently, how the players that were leaving had a different relationship with Coach Early, and that there would need to be change there on how he approached the players and the players approached him. I think that was a grand slam home run, and the change in that, even with the ones that came back, because Sorrell and Grahovac and Freshcorn, all of them took a different approach to their coach, and that was player led. And those things that we wanted to see happen, we saw happen this year, and that's why you got to the position you were in. A&M still had injuries. Okay, A&M had injuries last year. It was a little bit more significant last year in the hitting wise than it was pitching wise. You flip the coin this year. That's how college baseball is. When you can't go out to a waiver wire and get players to come in, you can run into times where you're short at positions. And that's something that college baseball is kind of unique in how they have to deal with it. That's college athletics now. Your numbers are capped. You can't go out. You have people that get hurt or have somebody leave, and you can't even go out and have walk-on tryouts anymore at a school of 75,000 and say, hey, do you even want to come try out at midterm for that? Things have changed with athletics that way. But I think that the direction that we said this program has to do these things to be better next year, they did them. And that's why this program is in a much better position than it was in May and June of last year.
Bronny, how attractive is the pitching coach position for Texas A&M nationally?
I was talking to an American League scout about this yesterday, and a couple of things. I'm glad you brought this up. Scotty made the point about the injuries, and the injuries to the pitching staff were significant, but there was also some real developmental things that weren't happening. And whenever you are in charge of an entire team or an entire position group, your responsibility is to coach and develop every one of them, not just the top 2 or 3 guys. Mm-hmm. Your job is to develop everything for everybody if you can. That is coaching. And there were just some things that were not done. And it goes down to the recruiting trail, all this type of stuff. And I mentioned this briefly, but there was just kind of some low-hanging fruit that wasn't getting done. And there was also some major things that weren't getting done. And I think it was the right decision to make a move at that spot. Now, you asked me how attractive that job is. I was talking to an American League scout about it yesterday that said that was a necessary move based off everything he'd heard in the agent world. Like, had A&M kept the current situation, the status quo, it was going to be really, really hard for them to get pitchers out of the portal, but also retain the current pitching staff. That being said, I do think it is a really intriguing job because of, if you look at the history of this program, only in the last 4 or 5 years has it really become offensive.
Mm-hmm.
And Scotty can speak to the years and decades of Texas A&M being a premier pitching spot. So this program, especially through the Rob Childress years, its bread and butter was on the mound, depth on the mound. And when you combine that and you look at the history of pitchers coming out of the state of Texas, so you put somebody in this recruiting ground that can go 180 miles north or 90 miles southeast or west and go find top-end arms, I think that's attractive. I think the salary is attractive. I know that the incoming facilities are going to be attractive to candidates. And the cachet of being the pitching coach in the SEC at a place like Texas A&M that really cares about baseball, I think people would be surprised about who is called with interest for this job.
Did you want to touch on the history?
Well, I think that, and the best teams that A&M has is when there's a balance in pitching and hitting. When they get both of them together, they're a national championship contender. And I think Mark Johnson would say that. Rob Childress would say that. Michael Early has experienced that, and the previous coaches over in Austin would think that. Their best team was a team that had that balance. But you're right. There's a lot of people around here that grew up with A&M producing draft pick after draft pick on the mound. And you see those guys still pitching in Major League Baseball now. And you also had recruits that didn't make it to campus before they were even household names that had said, I want to go to A&M and I want to be there pitching. So, I mean, there is a lot of that in the history of this program. And all of that, everything Bronny just said, the prestige, the conference, the salary, the facilities they're building pitching staff-wise is all going to be just as good as everybody else. I think people are going to see that Michael Early is somebody I want to work with because I also know the offense is going to give me a chance to win games if I have, even a day where my pitching isn't great, if I have good pitching that day, the offense that Michael Early produces is going to give us a chance to win.
Scotty brought up the 24 team and merging good pitching with great hitting. They weren't that great on the mound outside of Ryan Brauninger, Evan Aschenbeck, and Chris Cortez the back half of the season. Of course, Justin Lampkin got real hot in College World Series. Mm-hmm. But this team was very close to kind of mirroring that team where they kind of slugged their way to Omaha if they had gotten a little bit more on the mound or if Aiden Sims had been healthy. They're not that far off. If they had an arm or two that was more reliable, they're in a much better spot, in a much different spot.
Don't forget,
it doesn't have to go all the way back to the dominant eras of Childress when you've got
I just say balance.
Stripling.
Yeah,
you just
balance.
need some progress. Get to where you're above average rather than below average, and you're a title contender, not just the national seed contender.
Don't forget that 24 team was a pitch away in the bottom half of some innings in the 9th, 10th, and 11th against Texas in that regional from losing a game in the regional. That game was 1-1 into extra innings, correct?
Yeah.
Because I can remember Evan Aschenbeck, as good as he was on the mound, and he makes one mistake, the game's over.
Mm-hmm.
And they needed a ball that hit the bag in a regional. They got some luck, and they won that regional game. Then they rolled Louisiana in the final. But, that's postseason baseball. You're going to be in some nail-biting games. You need a little bit of luck to go your way. The interesting part about the pitching coach is, what does Coach Early want? What's he looking for? Is he looking for a pro ball guy that is going to mimic what we're seeing around the country, that is going to be more in tune with the analytics, the up-to-date technology, how to use it and utilize it on each individual pitcher? Or does he go with a guy that's got some more skins on the wall? Or does he try to meld both? I know he has received interest from coast to coast throughout college and professional baseball. Ideally, given that the portal is open, you are prudent about this decision and also pragmatic in terms of the calendar. But I don't think that the calendar needs to force you to do something. The quality of the hire is still more important than the timing of the hire. So if he can meld both of those two, like if he can get somebody really good quickly, that'd be ideal. But I don't think that you can go, okay, I don't know about this guy. He wants the job, and I need to get somebody in. So let's just there's too much riding on this for that.
Yeah, and
he's got to get this right.
Yeah, and I think that, and that's where it goes to what he's doing at A&M as far as being the head coach here. This is not the same situation it was last year, and this program did rebound, and we are selling. Excuse me, we're selling the rebound. So I think that, that's what he has to do. It's a good position to be in, and because he is going to be able to go out there and sell it to the coach and the coaches that are applying, because some of them may have to be convinced to leave the spot they're in, even though they've shown interest. He's got to recruit them, in certain situations, just like you have to go get players. This is talent acquisition. Now it's talent acquisition of a pitching coach. And I've seen pretty good talent acquisition in the players that he's had across the street.
Sorry, we're getting some stuff coming in right now. Sam Erickson, outfielder Sam Erickson, has entered the transfer portal this morning. And then a guy that had been on the radar out of the portal, Dawson Park, who was at Texas State last year as the shortstop, but famously, if you follow college baseball, was kicked off the team about 3 weeks before the end of the regular season. He has just committed to LSU. So that is one guy from Texas A&M going into the portal, and a guy that was on our watch list that is committed elsewhere.
Before we hit a break, Richard, if you can, what do you think the biggest offseason priority is? I mean, I know we just talked about replacing the pitching coach.
There's so many, right? For the overall health of the program, it might be finding the recruiting coordinator moving forward. But at the same time, I think it's got to be what you can do in the short term to help replace those big three bats of Grahovic, Sorrell, Bear Harrison, yes. Grahovic, Sorrell, Harrison, and Hakopian in the aggregate. Because, it's tough to replace three All-Americans and who should have been an All-SEC catcher. That's tough. Or at least got his work cut out for him, but see what he can do.
Well, and improvements from, or continued arrows going in the right direction for Jorian and Nico could solve a lot of those too.
Yep. All right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back with more right now. If you're looking for real peace of mind when it comes to your financial future, check out Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors. They're an independent fiduciary serving clients all across Texas. No sales pitches, no commissions, just honest financial planning and investment management. And what really sets them apart is the over 9 CFPs, the CFA, and the CPA all on staff. They take their credentials seriously, and they work tirelessly to help you build a future that you can feel good about. Go to paragon-adv.com or give them a call, 979-693-3907, to schedule your free consultation today. It is Paragon Financial Advisors, integrity, expertise, and trust. Paragon Financial Advisors. Baseball bunch for another segment. I already saw Coach G and Fernando Palomo in the lobby. Looking forward to catching up with them. Fernando Palomo. How would you say it? Fernando Palomo?
Exactly how you said it.
Okay. Fernando Palomo. And Coach G. Hey, let's go through some superlatives, all right? And we can just kind of all chit-chat here. Team MVP.
Gavin Grohovic.
Gavin Grohovic.
For on-field and off-field.
I think I know the answer to a lot of these, but just for kicks and giggles. Best pitcher?
Clayton Freshcorn.
He was the best pitcher, most important pitcher, but that's Aiden Sims still is 1B.
Okay. Most improved?
Bear Harrison.
Bear's a great player. I mean, I still think he earned all SEC honors, especially when this league routinely gives the all-defensive award to the third team.
Yeah.
I understand that Jackson and Tenney both had great years. I'm not taking anything away from either of them. They're great players. They're both still playing. And Jackson's got a chance to win the Triple Crown in this league. It's only been done 3 times. But Bear Harrison, for what he meant to this team, both offensively and behind the plate, he should have been an all-conference honoree. He hit .319 in this league in conference games. .319 as a backstop. And he only committed 2 pass balls all year.
And no rest.
Yes, played every day.
A warrior every day.
Yeah, Bear Harrison is perhaps the most underrated catcher in this league.
Aiden Sims.
Okay. Biggest.
Aiden Sims went from very little time.
That's true, too.
To the guy for your starting rotation.
I think that's a great answer. Biggest surprise, is it still Aiden Sims?
I think my biggest surprise is I'd give it to those 3 freshmen.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy to come into this league and perform the way they did. Nico Partita, before he got injured, playing like an all-SEC, or it was all-freshman team, but he was playing like SEC Freshman of the Year. Boston Kellner, what he did in the first half was impressive. I know he hit the freshman wall. And then Jorian Wilson is still a freak of nature. No, it didn't go well for him towards the end, but I'm interested to see the development because those 3 guys are so key to the future.
Ronnie?
I mean, there were good and bad surprises. I think the good surprises they mentioned. The bad surprises was just the starting pitching, like the rotation. Shane Sadeo not being what everybody thought he was. And I'm not blaming that on Shane. That's, we're finding out now that more and more that the Tommy John surgeries, how they're doing them, it's a little bit more of a coin flip that you're back and ready to pitch, like you were. It's taking guys a little bit longer to return to what they were before pre-surgery. But I would say both of those guys got it right. I'd lean Aiden Sims.
I'm going to go with Jorian. I mean, this is still a kid from Hallettsville with limited thing. I watched him play, this last summer for the Bombers and saw him hit tanks then. And I was like, wow, what is this guy that you've got? And he didn't start, to start the year. I think that some of that goes to some of the guys that were on this team already, that he had to find his way. But when Naquin had to find his way and Sorrell had to find his way, Jordan Wilson's finding his way, and you turn into All-American and a first-round draft pick at the end of the rainbow.
Jace got to start every game as a freshman. He was brutal through non-conference. He was bad. I think he was hitting right at 200 with 2 home runs through the non-conference, and he ended up setting the freshman home run record that year. You don't really know when the light's going to go on for some of these uber-talented players. Jorian, the light is flickered on and off. That's part of his development. When it goes on and stays on, he's going to be a special player.
Biggest win of the year, biggest loss of the year.
Biggest loss is Game 2 against USC in the regional final. Biggest win for me would be Game 2 versus Texas.
Other Game 2 versus Texas or the regular season finale against Mississippi State, the way they got there.
Yeah, Mississippi State was what I was looking at I just think that the pressure was on at that point in time. Mississippi State, you had to get it done that day, and it wasn't pretty, but you showed your mettle that day at Bluebell.
And then I'll go back to the Friday against Vanderbilt. But that's an important day. I mean, the sweep a doubleheader. After what we said that Friday morning, when Nuño described it as a funeral, that day flipped the season.
Yeah, you're exactly right. All right, biggest what if of the year. And there's a couple I can bring up, but
what if Stewart stays healthy? What if David Ramirez and Caden McCoy are
What if
healthy?
Aiden Sims stays
What if
healthy?
Aiden? What if pitching? What if?
It's what if on the pitching, but also let's go with a guy that stayed out there. What if Boston Kellner doesn't get hit and have to go through what
I got a
went
better
through?
one. What if Chris Akopian doesn't run into Jorian Wilson?
Yeah.
What if his back doesn't seize up in the second week of the year?
That was like, to the overarching what if Chris Akopian's the best version of himself from start to finish.
He fell below the line, and I know we've talked about that. He fell below the line in stats. He did not play three-quarters of he only played right below three-quarters of the season.
Yep.
If you had gotten 56 games out of him, he still only played 42 games. And that's a guy that no one is saying he can't play and how tough he is and everything that's going to go on in front of him. If he had been your everyday second baseman, there's another if.
People thought I was speaking in hyperbole that I said that he played with a broken leg. That is not hyperbole. His leg had a fracture in it. It was broken. His dad told me that his leg was black. It was so bruised that the skin had turned black, and he played.
Toughness is insane. It makes you as an Aggie, and we always talk about across all sports about grit and blue collar.
Mm-hmm.
That's grit. That's blue collar. I know you didn't know about it during the season, but as an A&M fan, you should have a greater appreciation for what Chris Akopian tried to give to your team. He tried to will them through a regional.
Last thing for you guys. One word to describe the 2026 season.
Progress.
Man, it's in one word. It's difficult.
You can use more. Not China.
Well, remember, this is a very famous bit on Inside the NBA when they had asked Charles Barkley in 2 words. Yeah.
And Chris Paul, must-see TV.
Very good. That's exactly what he said.
I'm going to go redemption because I think this program did a 180 when a lot of people doubted. Even during this season, they redeemed themselves this year.
I would say solid.
Solid year.
Solid year. Not great, not elite, solid.
I'm actually going to ask one more just because I can. Breakout candidate for next year? Anybody?
David Ramirez.
It's a good one.
Jorian Wilson.
That's an easy one.
Well, if he gets the softballs like that all year, it will be him.
Can I say Cooper Fulbright? I think he's got good stuff. Red-shirted. Jack Bell?
Jack Bell. Hit 303
I
for
think
TCU last year.
You look what's happening at TCU. There was something going on that they didn't like up there developmentally. Jack Bell wasted no time to get back to Texas A&M and to work with Coach Early. He hit over 300 still, and there's more juice in there. I think Jack Bell could hit 320 with 12 or 14 homers next year.
All right, we'll hit a break. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate all your help during the season. All right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back, Coach G and Fernando Palomo, talking about the Argentina-Honduras game.
Oh, I want to say Hunter Vincent.
Hunter Vincent, okay.
Hunter Vincent, I left that one out.
Wow, that's been the guy. We've talked about him every show for the last month.
Give me Hunter Vincent.
Hunter Vincent. All right. Milliken Reserve Time, farm-to-table community in College Station. They got homes, they got trails, they got farms, they got wide open spaces. They have a mission to build a healthy community around nature. They've got 2,600 acres of open space. They've got 30 miles of trails. They've got beautiful homes there. And they have an extensive network of trails throughout a wooded landscape that includes walking, equestrian paths, creeks, ponds, and gathering areas. All the animals you can imagine, from the white-tailed deer to the songbirds, the rabbits, and the turtles. And homeowners at Milliken Reserve sharing a legacy of conservation, which means generation after generation, you're coming back to that same pristine countryside place. Check out the website, millikenreserve.com. That is millikenreserve.com. And we are back. It is TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. International soccer returns to Kyle Field for the second time in 3 years. Argentina versus Honduras this weekend. I said it with my American accent because they made fun of me when I did it with my Spanish accent. Coach G returns to the program. Coach, it's been a long time.
Thank you. On behalf of the American accents, I'll take this side of the desk.
And watch this. Y Fernando Palomo from ESPN. Who's here
I'm not going to talk about accents here because I think I'm going to bring one, heavily bring one today.
Gentlemen, both of you, years back, remember, talked about this becoming a possibility for this community. Coach G, why don't you start us off? How great it is to follow up what we did 2 years ago to have the World Cup champions playing here.
Yeah, it's really a dream come true. And even 2 years ago, when the first, quote, experiment came on, and they bring in Brazil and Mexico, I think they were thinking maybe 40,000, 50,000, and 83,000 show up. So I think you'll see even more at Kyle tomorrow night, and I think it's going to be just that much more of a push towards what this community can bring in annually. And to do matches like this, and the type of crowd that just, it's effervescent in the way that it rises, whether it's people coming in from, Houston, Austin, Dallas, San Antonio, or even just in the surrounding of the Brazos Valley. It's very exciting.
It's fascinating. Yeah. I can't wait for it to happen. And I wish we'd top the 100,000 attendance mark. It'd be great for the school. It'd be great for the stadium. It'd be great for the city. For those that come in to go back to wherever they're coming from and tell their folks how great of an experience it was to go into a college town and experience the atmosphere of a top-notch stadium like Kyle Field. And I got to tell you, there's people coming from Miami, from Jersey, from Panama,
right?
Not Panama City, Panama, the country down there by the canal, because this is a World Cup caliber game at regular folk type price, because the World Cup is not providing that. So your chance to go see the World Cup champions at a fraction of what it would cost you to go to a World Cup match. It's just a once in a lifetime.
Well, and the thing too, people talking about that, Messi, nursing a hamstring. Okay, you have the darn world champions. Yeah. This team is. Fernando and I were talking, off air about just how loaded this roster is. It's the same manager from 2022 when they won the World Cup. This is a real treat for people to be able to come in and see this type of talent on Kyle Field, an expanded Kyle Field, and expanded in the width that you've got to make it to be, in an international football venue. But to be able to be a part of that type of atmosphere is something that I hope that kids are going to be coming to this game, because this is something that they'll remember for the rest of their lives.
Fernando, they say hockey is it's good on TV, but go in person is a different level. What about international soccer with this level of guy to see it live? You've been to thousands of matches. It's different, right?
It is totally different. Now I got to tell you this: Argentina brings in a crowd, and they bring a soundtrack with them as well. and I think that will make, for whoever shows up to the game tomorrow, if they've been to a dozen or tens of games at Kyle Field, those are football games. We provide an environment that's second to none in the nation. But when you add the stadium that we know, and you put in fans that, again, have their own way of living the game, this is going to be a unique experience. Just go on YouTube or wherever and just search for Argentina fans chanting in the stands. Oh man, they're gonna put it on. They're gonna bring a show.
Yeah, the rhythm, the tempo, just within the fans, even before any exciting pieces of the match, is again, it's pretty cool. He's been, of course, to so many of the great venues around the world, especially Spain and across the world.
I'm just thinking, I get goosebumps just thinking of how it's going to sound.
Yeah,
and to be able to bring that to our folks that will be watching our broadcast on ESPN Deportes is going to be fascinating. Again, I've been here. I graduated in '95, so I was here in the early '90s. I saw Kyle Field with the AstroTurf, right? You fell over there and you remembered that for 2 semesters or 3. And I would joke around with my friends over there, just kicking around a soccer ball, warming up we would bring those Lancero balls that coach used to have, and borrow them without him knowing, and bring it over to Needham Street so we can practice.
The
and
fence was very low between track and soccer at the time.
So if 3 or 4 balls came over one way, maybe 3 just came back the other way. So we warmed up at Needham with soccer balls, and just thinking of the fact that we were there playing, kicking around, and not even imagining what we're going to see tomorrow. I wouldn't say a dream come true, because I don't think I ever dreamed of the World Cup champions playing at Kyle Field.
No, and Fernando has been amazing. There's obviously lots of connections with FIFA, people around the world, but just the number of times that you and I have walked around with FIFA officials, just trying to let them understand, like, listen, this is special. This is the pitch is going to be perfect. We have Aggies can grow grass, and can keep the things separate, but just the fact that we're so close to Houston, we're so close to Austin, the team can fly in. Our airport is, with traffic, is 4 minutes away. All those little ancillary pieces to it, and then, the reciprocation of bringing the world champions here, and for folks in Agland to be a part of, I'm excited. I'm excited for, you've got kids who have grown up playing soccer in this community. That just doesn't happen in other communities this size. It should be really, 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 really fun.
Well, both of you have friends that know this community from the college football world, the college soccer world. But how about this international soccer world that you've talked about? College Station, Kyle Field. How excited are you for them who are coming? Like, this is what I told you. Now you're going to get to experience it.
Argentina is not only traveling with their squad and their coaching staff. They carry an entourage of media behind them, and the media crew that follows Argentina is large. You're talking about a whole country not having this as their number one sport, but this basically as their number one religion. So the national team is more than a national symbol to them. It means a lot more. And for them to go into a World Cup preparing to defend the title, right? This is a step, it's part of the program. You play a friendly. Now, they're going to relay that to many other eyes all over their nation and all over the world. And that's what I'm looking forward to.
Exactly.
Being able to tell that story, the story of A&M and what we stand for as a school and as a community, so they get to know us a little bit more. This is one of the great things, other than the financial benefits of having a game and bringing in 100,000 folks to the stands. It's also the idea of showcasing our school to the world.
Well, we've always talked about like lifting the veil off of the secret of that you from the inside out, you can't explain it. Whatever.
We're going to get rid of that one, by the way.
We got to get rid of that, because anytime people come to this community, whether it's coming to a football game, whether it's coming to a baseball, anything, but now with this, people who probably have never been here for some of those events, to be able to experience what this community is about, the restaurants to be able to take advantage of it, everything else that happens with it, it's win, 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 win all the way around. And it's something that is going to put a lot of money back into this economy.
And for those folks that are coming in, do so early. There's going to be a great environment around the stadium. I mean, we are used to, Aggie Park and the Aggie tailgates during football games, but this is going to be a bit different.
Yeah.
And
so they'll be tailgating tomorrow and all the...
I don't think that they're doing tailgating around.
Not at Aggie Park, but there'll be, there's going to be a lot of activations happening around the game. There's a fan fest going on. And again, it'll be a chance to experience and if you know the town, get close to those that don't and explain to them what the town is about and what the university stands for.
All right, so from what we might see in the World Cup, is this an Argentina team that can repeat? And who are some of the other folks that you are keeping your eye on that could maybe win it all?
This is an Argentina team that can repeat. You think of when you win, right, you get your belly full and you're not hungry anymore. You think of that, and that's a stereotype that you build, outside of the group that you follow, right? Maybe this guy's waited so long to win a title, and they've celebrated that title. God, have they celebrated that title for 3.5 years? And you think, well, maybe they go into this World Cup not hungry enough to go back at it and fight for it again. You talk to the folks that are inside the team, and they'll change your mind in 2 seconds. Because these guys are coming in with because of people thinking that they can't do it.
Yeah,
they're trying to prove people wrong. And they have talent. I don't know if they're healthy enough going in. They have a tough task in Algeria as their first matchup in the World Cup. They get through that, and I think the schedule gets a little bit easier as they go in the group stage. It's a good test, but I think this group can beat anybody on a given day. And of course, they got the best player in history. And that we talked about with Coach. Even if he's not ready to start, a game, you're whoever, Austria or maybe the Algerians, and they're thinking they're playing man-to-man with them 30 minutes into the match, and they turn into the Argentina bench and they see Messi.
Warming up, yep.
That changes
others. I mean, they're the roster, again, as they get healthier in this World Cup, they become more and more and more dangerous. And they don't have the most difficult schedule they're not in the group of death, but they're in a group that they can steadily start to kind of get their feet to them. And again, just like Fernando said, when they won the World Cup in 2022, there was a lot of players on that roster who were just kind of coming into it. Now those players are all 3.5 years more experience on the world stage with their clubs all around the world. Those guys are just that much more dangerous. And they're coming off winning the 2024 Copa America. Messi was injured for the final, so they proved they could win that without him. They won't need him to pull them along all the way through this. But how about that? You bring in arguably the best player in the world off the bench,
yeah,
fresh with against people who are going to be playing in heat and going to be a little bit fatigued. It's a pretty good advantage to have if you're from Argentina.
So what? The regulars are also the contenders. France.
Oh yeah.
Is England? Is USA? Is Portugal?
Yeah, I wouldn't bring the USA in. I don't want to burst anybody's bubble. I don't think any bubble has been built enough or large enough for it to be burst. The U.S. will be a competitor in this World Cup, but I don't see them holding up against the biggest
coming
candidates.
off a good friendly result last week. They'll play again tomorrow night with their last friendly going in against Germany, which will be quite a test. But like I said, the usual suspects. Brazil with Carlo Ancelotti as the manager will be interesting to see how they do. But I think everyone's looking at France, everyone's looking at Spain, everyone's looking at Portugal as those things. And then you've got, dark horses like Norway, who could be really special.
The Netherlands could also be, very few people talk about them. They lost to Algeria in a friendly. Don't take all those results, take them with a pinch of salt, and that's it, because they're all, just trying to get their legs moving.
African nations are always spectacular to see in this event. So
Morocco will be a big test for Brazil. That's the first match for the Brazilians.
You want to hold that up because we got to hit a break here, but show the people the jerseys. Here you go, sir. Who you'll be able to see against at Kyle Field, Argentina and Honduras. Gentlemen, it's been too long. Thank you very much, Coach G. Next time we got to catch up on everything you're doing in life. All right.
Always around. Happy to
We have some soccer to talk about over the few months.
I am happy to be living in Aggie land and pleasantly retired. My wife is ready for me to get out of the house a little bit more, but all is well.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll hit a break. We'll close out the hour before Billy joins us on TexAgs Live. Hey friends, welcome back in. It's TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Let's find out what's popping on TexAgs today.
There's actually a lot going on TexAgs today, so make sure to become a premium subscriber. As David mentioned earlier, registration for PKO is still open at TexAgs.com. The event is benefiting the Boys and Girls Club of the Brazos Valley. We'll feature interviews with numerous A&M coaches, including Mike Elko. Bronny's baseball transfer portal thread is open and active. Kay and Kayla's softball transfer portal thread is open as well. OB has an article on the insane 2027 recruiting heater that Mike Elko and Texas A&M are currently on. Around Texas with the man, Jason Howe, highlighting key commitments and official visit dates. And weekend 2 of official visits for football. That thread is open as well from Jason Howe. Later today and this weekend, coverage of the soccer match, continued updates on baseball transfer portal movement, pitching coach search updates, and more.
Good stuff, Mr. Nygren. Appreciate you. All right, so what we'll do is we'll hit a break. Then we will talk to Billy Liucci. With Billy, maybe we'll bring up soccer just to make sure the Derm Doc is happy. We will also talk football. We'll talk more football. We'll talk baseball. We'll talk recruiting. We'll talk it all. We'll take your phone calls. Maybe. Sometimes I take them. 979-693-1150. Right now, a moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online at caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. If you're a business owner and you need to take your operation to the next level, Caldwell Country Chevrolet has, of course, expanded their selection of commercial vehicles to meet your everyday need. They've got it all, from the service body trucks to the heavy duties to the medium duties, you name it. They can handle those tough jobs. They've got the muscle to help you with your business demands. And they're also a designated business elite dealer. They understand what it keeps to keep your company moving forward. Remember, it's about a 15-minute drive. The edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell. Short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the good people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. Welcome back to TexAgs Live, a show that's unapologetically a show about nothing and everything, with some information, but not all the information. We go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Reese Nygren, the war has started. What do you want to start off with this segment?
So Adam Rittenberg, who was on the program yesterday, released an article picking college football's top non-quarterback playmakers in 2026. I'm not sure that this is in order from 1 to 15, but I would like for you to take a guess at who is the first person listed on this article.
Top
non-quarterback playmaker.
Cam Coleman?
It is not Cam Coleman.
Who is it?
It is Malachi Toney, wide
Okay.
receiver from Miami.
So, as we go through this list, because I haven't read the list, but as we go through it, I am aware that A&M didn't make the list.
Yes.
Okay.
A&M does not have a player on the list. There is one player that is on A&M's schedule and then another one that is in the SEC.
Okay. But I do want to, as we go through this list, like you did with Malachi Toney, discuss, because I agree, like I should have thought of him, people that A&M will face or just face. And he falls into that just face category, like literally the last
last game A&M played was against Malachi Toney. We'll skip number 2 because he plays defense for the Michigan Wolverines. He was not related to A&M whatsoever. Number 3 on the list, not on A&M's schedule, but in A&M's conference, running back from Ole Miss, Kawan Lacey.
I would have to do my own list to see if I think he's top 3 non-quarter, but that was a significant keep by Ole Miss. So I got no problem with that one.
Number 4, this guy is on Texas A&M's schedule, the second player from the SEC, Texas edge rusher Colin Simmons.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with that. By the way, is Dylan Stewart on this list?
Dylan Stewart is not on this list. Okay. There are a lot of very interesting
because I would put both of those guys to me, and maybe I'm wrong, at the same level of disruptor.
Yeah. I would put both of them. I think Colin Simmons is a touch above Stewart, but Stewart is still right there with Colin Simmons.
College football disruptors.
Yeah, if you made a list of top 5 college football disruptors, I think those guys might be number 1 and number 2. Another guy on this list, not sure what number he would be at because I had to scroll quite a ways down. Cornerback from Notre Dame, Leonard Moore.
So he's number what on that? He's 4?
I don't know what I don't know what number he is because I had to
Leonard
scroll
Moore,
down.
A&M faced him last year. He's excellent. Yep.
He will be one of the top draft picks. That Auburn linebacker Xavier Atkins.
Yeah. He shut up quite a bit last year.
Yep. 9 sacks, 17 tackles for loss. That is, Jeremiah Smith obviously is on this list. But that is
the only way A&M plays them is in the
playoffs. If A&M faces Jeremiah Smith, I think we're talking about having a pretty successful season. Other than that, those are all of the names that have any sort of correlation to A&M whatsoever. There's Texas Tech linebackers on here as well.
Wait, am I right? There was a scenario where A&M, they would have played Ohio State last year. Yeah. Had they beat Miami.
Had A&M beaten Miami,
they
would have had Texas A&M versus Ohio State
at the Cotton Bowl
at AT&T Stadium in Dallas.
Sorry. AT&T Stadium.
No longer the Cotton Bowl, sadly, but
to me it is. To me, I'm going to make it the Cotton Bowl.
To Unk it is, but
we should probably call Billy Liucci on the program. I'm going to tell you guys what we're going to do. Oh, okay.
No need
to call him. So I'm going to tell you what we're going to talk about with Billy. We've got. He's just walking. As a reminder, the final segment of the program is brought to you by Double Dave's. That's at 10:50, but right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They've been serving Aggieland since 1984 with your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls, reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com, and your favorites are on their way. Hey, buddy.
Hey, what's up?
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Yeah, it is on.
I'm on. We're on.
Hey, we're on, so you're aware.
We're on. We're live.
Yeah, so no bad words. I wanted to ask you, this is not necessarily A&M specific, but it can certainly fit the narrative. Not the narrative. I'll follow that up. Like, when a team is an 8-4 team in today's era of college football, and you have the amount of money these programs are spending now, is 8-4 fireable in this world for teams that are expected to be, not only are in the top 10 spenders, but also expected to be in the playoffs?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Coaches don't want to hear that. What is it?
Yeah. Oh, did you? I hope you didn't touch the spoon part.
I didn't.
Okay.
That would bother you.
That would really bother
Coaches don't like to hear this, and they like to have all the power, all the control. They come in, take a job, want to turn it into their personal kingdom, get their way with everything, get everything they ask for, everything they want, everything they need. And then when they lose, it's everyone else's fault. That's 95% of coaches I've ever known at any school. That's not A&M, that's everywhere. There's always an excuse. They were always, at the end of the day, not given enough, or it was someone else's fault, or, a lot of times they'll blame coaches that they hired.
Mm-hmm.
This is just it's just the way of the world in this thing. And if you go 8-4, that in no world should that be fireable. But I'm here to say it is. Not in 1 year.
Right.
Like 8-4 in a year in your career, like early on, that's not a bad year, especially in this league. Hell, I was sitting there saying Mike Elko's 8-4 was a good first year, and I meant it. And you could go back, I don't know what the current SEC coaches were, but at the time, there were 16 of them. 2 of them did better than 8-4 in year one, or even 8-4. I think it was Brian Kelly and Kalen DeBoer, who just inherited Nick Saban stuff. They were the only 2, and they both went 9-3. 8-4 was the 3rd best out of 16. So there's context. If Will Stein goes over and takes over Kentucky, and he goes 8-4 in year 2, I think that's a good year.
Yeah.
So there's always context. So when I say 8-4 is fireable, I mean if you're a coach and you've gotten everything that you've asked for, and you've kind of bullied your way to getting that and stomping over everyone on your campus en route to doing that, and I'm talking about an SEC or Big Ten head football coach that has that much, power and influence, and they use it to their advantage through their whole tenure. 8-4 ain't getting it done. Like, let's say Steve Sarkisian is a good example. They rode with him through 5-7, through 7-6. The first 2 years, I think he was 5-7, 7-5 in the regular seasons, right? So I think when he did that, they rode with him. Then he got it going. Now, last year he was preseason number 1, went 9-3. This year he's got the golden child at quarterback, and everyone's projecting them to make a deep playoff run, if not win the SEC, if not win the national title. If he were to go 8-4, that's bitter disappointment.
He doesn't get fired, though, does he?
No, he doesn't. But if he did it 2 years in a row, he probably would.
Yeah.
So you say 8-4 and go, okay, he went 9-3, 8-4, 8-4. Then I think Texas would say this doesn't look like it's trending towards the national championship, and that's what we're paying for. And he's been there, this is year 6. So he would have been there 7 years, and it would be trending that way and not that way.
What if he went 7-5?
You know, this year?
Yeah, because they got a tough schedule.
They wouldn't fire. They'd be dumb to fire him.
I agree.
At this, but if you went 2 years of that type, 4 losses plus on the heels of 9-3, I think that would be plenty of trend. Now, for Mike Elko and A&M, if he went 8-4 this year, obviously it doesn't even place him on any kind of hot seat, but it would be considered, I think, a very disappointing season. And let me tell you this is how tough the SEC is. This is 8-4 for Texas A&M last year. You ready? They don't convert 4th and 13, 4th and 11. What was it? 4th and 11 from the 13.
Mm-hmm.
They don't convert 4th down, or they call a holding penalty on Chase Basantes. Okay, 1 play. That's 2 losses. Marcel doesn't scramble for the first down on 4th and 12. So 2 4th down on amazing plays, individual plays by your quarterback, and in one instance the tight end as well.
2 plays.
Now you're at 9-3. Okay, and I would say Arkansas, if E.J. Smith doesn't make an incredible run on 4th down, doesn't mean they're going to lose. A&M could keep scoring, but Arkansas was going to get the ball with a chance to take the lead. I think it was pretty early 4th quarter from about A&M's 25 or 30. gutsy call by Elko. It worked. You had a missed block that almost made a disaster. All three of those plays, two of them you do lose the game. One of them you might have. Very good shot that you could have. Those three plays were amazing individual plays by players. It's also why you recruit amazing, players that can execute amazing plays when you need them. But it's also that just shows you how close it was. If KC Concepcion can just get that much more of an angle, we're going to overtime against Miami. Maybe going to the, going to the Cotton Bowl to play Ohio State. So it's always close. But my point is, 8-4 can happen to you in a hurry. So you better have a team and a culture, and that's what I think Elko's built. Better have a culture that you win 2 out of 3 of those type games every time you play them, because you're going to play a ton of them in the SEC. And you better be a team that just you look up and you go, man, how'd they win that? And you go, well, that's just what they do. And that's where I think the culture is here, and that's what matters. And then the quarterback, I think, is a huge part of that as well. Notice that we just said everyone wants to talk about that ending to Miami, but Marcel had some really clutch moments in some big games this year. If you think about just Arkansas was so clutch. Notre Dame, obviously that second half against South Carolina, the entire half. At LSU, just to blow that thing open at kind of the perfect time. And he was very clutch and won them a lot. You think about LSU a couple of years ago, won them a lot of football games. He was clutch in losses. We've talked about this a million times to USC and Auburn.
We brought him from behind.
Get stops. They win those 2 games. So you have to have that, and you have to have a winning, fourth quarter culture. And I think A&M had that last year. I know they lost to Texas. I know they lost to Miami. It's a 13-game season. If you look at that football team, they had a clutch fourth quarter culture. That's how you avoid these things. But if they don't, and it's 8-4, they've set a new bar. They're not Texas 8-4 anymore. That's you want to have put that behind you. That's why, to me, the kind of the minimum season for me to go, this is a successful year, would be
9-3.
Or momentum. A year to keep your momentum going would be 9-3. And hell, who knows? That might get you in the playoffs depending on who you beat and who you lose to.
Something you said caught my attention because I've thought it before, but when you were talking about the 11-1 season, how close it could have been to 9-3, 8-4, 1 or 2 plays, I'm going to remind you of the 22 season, which they went 5-7, and just how many games came down to a play or two. Appalachian State, we know how that one could have gone. The loss to Alabama, 24-20, you were
on the goal line.
Yep. You've got the South Carolina game. That game, second half, got away from you, but you lost 30-24.
I wouldn't have put that.
But within a score. Ole Miss 31-28, right? Within a field goal, and then the Auburn game.
Wait. South Carolina, you lost.
That 2 years.
Oh, that year. I was thinking 2 years ago when Moss
2022.
got hurt.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that was the after the game, the kids getting in trouble in the locker room.
Yep.
Had a lot of people in that building get mad at me for reporting it, and I had to tell some people that was maybe the dumbest crap I'd ever heard from an A&M, any coaches at all, to think that, if you think about what was actually going on in there, it was insane.
But my point is that
game,
that season.
What were the other ones you said?
So you had the loss to Alabama, the loss to South Carolina, the loss to Ole Miss, 31-28.
That one, that was.
And then Auburn.
I wouldn't have put South Carolina. I would say the Auburn one sucked. That was one of the worst games I've ever seen. That wasn't even. I mean, it was competitive from a score. That was disgraceful. Ole Miss, App State, and Alabama for sure. I mean, just take Alabama and Ole Miss because the damage was kind of done to that season once you lost to App State. But I think where that Bama one was, you had kind of beaten, I think, Miami.
You have.
I think you'd beaten Miami and Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Bama might have been next.
No, Mississippi State. You lost by 20.
Oh, gosh. That was where they blocked the field goal. They were offside. Yeah. No, but if you beat Bama and Ole Miss that year, it changes.
Changes everything.
I know you only go 7-5. but it changes the feel of like, oh, they righted the ship there. Oh, wow, you beat Alabama. You beat Lane Kiffin. That Lane Kiffin one, I thought, did Jimbo in, really. You're talking about 22.
I'm talking 22, but we can talk 23 as
what,
well.
the one that to me did Jimbo in.
Well, and
anyway, you're going 5 and 7 here. I'm
just saying, or go back
my
to 21.
Point is saying you can have a good team.
Yeah.
And you better be good in crunch time in these SEC football games. You can play 9 of them. I bet everyone in the SEC, save but I think even the top 2 but save the bottom couple 3, that if there's just 2-3 teams that just stink, your top 12, let's just say your top 12 teams in the SEC. I bet those top 12, you play 9-game schedules. Every one of them will have 5 games that are decided in the last 4 minutes of the game. Half their conference game.
You'll probably get annoyed. But I'm going to even say 21.
Oh.
LSU game, Mississippi State. I'm just saying, those were...
Yeah.
The LSU game,
Yeah,
I thought we won the game. Sorry, I still think that. I'm just saying but one play can completely change the trajectory of a season.
Yeah, but going back to your main point, 8 and 4, yeah, for all these coaches get nowadays, and the rev share and the push, the leaning on donors for the NIL money, okay, we went 10 and 2, okay, we're going to ask for more this year. Okay, now we go one step further in the playoffs. We're going to ask for more because A&M's doing more and Texas is doing more and LSU's doing more. Texas Tech's doing this. We got to do more. And then all of a sudden you go 8 and 4. You got to answer to a lot of people. And again, 8 and 4 doesn't do it. And an 8 and 4 with context is a lot different than when you're an established coach and you've got the arrow and the path is to, because of the commitment level and because of what you've poured into this coach and this program, the arrow in the ascent needs to be continuing. Or there's going to be shorter triggers than there were back in the pre-NIL era. And I absolutely agree with that. We're not on this. I mean, you can be on a 6-year plan to a championship. You can be on a 6-year plan where your program's doing this, and maybe there's 1 year in there where it's 8 and 4. Hey, we had our 2 quarterbacks get hurt, or we had, we lost a lot more than we thought. But look at our roster movement. You can have a setback year. Texas was very close, Nuño. You speaking of close, they were overtime wins over Kentucky and Mississippi State on the road from being 7-5.
Yeah.
You don't fire him for that. That would have been probably just a ridiculous setback where it's O-line was a mess. Quarterback took half the season to get anything going. It's not excusable, but it's okay. It's acceptable when you take the body of work if he were to bounce back and go to the playoffs. So, but this 6-year thing of doing this, it can have a little setback, but there's not a 6-year plan to get there. You better get there a lot sooner. And there might be, 6 years in, they still haven't won it yet. How long did it take Ryan Day to win a natty?
Was it 6 years, 7 years?
The path to the ramp up to win the whole thing. Has Dan Lanning won? Has Lanning won a Pac-12, a Big 12, a Big 10 title yet?
No.
Yeah, has he? I guess he's won one playoff game against James Madison.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody. There's not. Won't hear.
They beat Texas Tech.
Oh yeah, they did 23-0. You won't hear a negative thing about Dan Lanning. He's in what, year 4 coming up? Or year 5? He's in year 4. Elko's going into year 3. Lanning should be going
the year
into
prior,
year
I
4.
thought.
It might be year 5. But
it took Day 7 years to win the national championship.
And then what year is Lanning going into? Is it 4 or 5?
Dan Lanning is headed into year 5.
Okay, so Dan Lanning's been there 4 years. It took Ryan Day till 6 years. So it's not about you have to get to a national title quickly and you can't have a setback, that's fine. But you know it when you know it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, a Sark going 8-4, 8-4, you go the peak, 9-3, 8-4, 8-4. Yeah, then I think you probably say, hey, we got to do. By the way, we're making up 2 seasons into it, but that's just my point. I'm picking a really successful coach. Now, Ryan Day, if he goes 8-4 this year, after 2 playoff berths, how's Alabama feeling about him 3 years in? I said Ryan Day.
Kalen DeBoer.
Yeah. How's Bama feeling about him 3 years in?
Yeah.
So it's all relative. So in the case of what we're talking about, this team and Mike Elko, like, I think 9-3 represents, I think,
continued
on
momentum.
that schedule and the wins that you have to get to. I'm not saying that's the bar this year, and that's what the goal is or what you're hoping for. The goal is to get back to the playoffs. Period. 10-2, 9-3, 11-1, 12, whatever. The goal is to return to that playoff field and win one. Then that is progress. I think returning to the playoff field on this schedule after losing 10 draft picks, or was it 10 draft? Yeah, that's progress. That is like noticeable progress, even though you got to the same spot. Now you win a game, now we're really talking. But if you went 9-3, I think you absolutely can sustain and continue program momentum, which is what you're talking about when you say 8-4. The programs that can sustain momentum at that level are the ones that haven't gotten there yet.
All right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back with more. Whether you're starting out or you've been building for your future for decades, the right bank makes all the difference in the world. And in Bryan College Station, that bank is Guaranty Bank and Trust. Since 1913, they've helped generations of Texans buy homes, start businesses, achieve financial goals that once seemed out of reach. Now with some automated system, with real people who sit across the table from you and actually listen. You got Brandon Sears here in this market, Bryan College Station team that he takes care of. 3 convenient locations in Aggieland and statewide. They've got 33 great Texas locations. So wherever life takes you, Guaranty Bank and Trust is there as well. Take the first step and visit the website, gnty.com, or walk into any of their BCS locations. Introduce yourself to their team. They can't wait to meet you. Guaranty Bank and Trust, a division of Glacier Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. We're back here. Lunch with Liucci on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Wallow Insurance Studio. Billy, I just want to get your take on the CBS Sports article that ranked A&M's toughest stretch, and they labeled a tough stretch 3 games. Okay, not a month, a 3-game stretch, and they have A&M as in the top 10 of the most difficult stretches of college football. Their stretch that they pointed out was the Tennessee at Oklahoma, Texas. 3 games to end the season.
Yeah. Interesting they pick a stretch where 2 of the 3 are at home.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take that. But those are 3.
Daunting.
Probably, I don't know about Tennessee because of the quarterback uncertainty, but those are 3 powerful SEC programs, 2 legitimate playoff contenders. Some would say national title contenders. I don't see it with OU unless that offense, Mateer becomes everything everyone has told me he is that I did not see even when he was not hurt. I saw a dangerous quarterback. I didn't see a great quarterback. But playoff contender at the minimum in Norman. And then in Austin, we talked about them a few minutes ago. Everybody knows what they're saying about Texas this year. And the Vols. I mean, it's freaking Tennessee. And Josh Heupel's had I'm kind of on the fence on Heupel, but he's had some real success there in Knoxville for, I guess, 2 of his seasons there. 2 of his 5.
I would
check that out.
I
5
think
or 6.
It might be 6.
But anyway, he had a playoff run and then had Hendon Hooker not gotten hurt. Now they were still going to get smoked by South Carolina.
He's headed into year 6 at Tennessee.
So 5 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on one today, Reese.
I'm the one who got the Dan Lanning one right. So I'm on one.
We could fact check it. But anyway, I think that's a tough one. I feel like there's another stretch in there.
The Alabama, Nick, can you put it up, please? The Alabama stretch, I thought Tennessee's in there because you got to go to at South Carolina, at Alabama, and then obviously you have Tennessee. Depending on what level of Tennessee, I think that could be. The last 2 times A&M's gone to South Carolina has been difficult. Going to Tuscaloosa is always difficult.
And the Citadel right before that.
I'll talk about the next 3.
I would agree with you though. Oklahoma and Texas to me, honestly, I think OU will be better than Bama this year. But let's just call them. Yeah. That one is just as tough, in my opinion, because of the 2 road venues.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Texas, I think, would be the best team out of those 5, and I think OU would slightly be the second best team with Bama, then Tennessee. But
would you say
at
that for the whole
South Carolina, at Alabama, that is now just look at that final stretch of games. Period.
Yeah,
that final 5. You better be. Who's in your first 6 there? I mean, the first 7: Kentucky, LSU,
at Missouri,
Arkansas, at Mizzou,
the Citadel.
You better not have. You better be 6-1 at worst in your first 7 games. Arizona State, at Missouri, at LSU, Kentucky, right? Those are and then you have Citadel and a couple. You have Citadel and 2 other cupcakes, right? You better be no worse than 3-1. Kentucky at home, Arkansas at home, at worst, LSU, at Mizzou.
You got to split those 2 at worst.
You got to lose. You got to go 4-1. Is that 5 games, Reese, that I'm naming here? Put that back up. You got to go 4-1 in 5 against. Read them out to me because I'm.
You got Missouri State, Arizona
State, Kentucky,
at LSU
on the road,
Arkansas at home, at Missouri,
and at Missouri. Those 5, you can't go worse than 4-1. I don't think when you look at that closing schedule kick, right? Like you have to be. You might need to be 7-0 to start the season, but if you went 6-1, I mean, do you really have to go 4-1 against Alabama at South Carolina, and at OU, plus Texas and Tennessee at home. That's why, to me, 9-3, while it's not the goal or the bar, you still, if you look at the wins you have to get to 9-3 there, that would be going 3-2 down the stretch against Bama, Tennessee, South Carolina, Texas, and OU, and losing one in the first half. So honestly, what that tells me is this A&M team better be really good immediately to start the season. And you know what? ASU lost a lot, including their quarterback and starting running back and first-round wide receiver and first-round tackle. Kentucky's breaking in a new coach. LSU breaking in a new coach, even though it's Lane Kiffin, and a new quarterback and 50 transfers, and you're playing them the week after they play Ole Miss. You might be able to catch that. You should be more ready for that than they are for it, 4 weeks into the season. Doesn't mean, that's going to be a really hard game to win. We know that. And then Arkansas, new coach. Missouri, where's Ahmad Hardy? New quarterback. To sit there and say 7-0, though, is crazy. But A&M has to really hit the ground running and be a well-oiled machine early in order to make this playoff field. Because, if you can set yourself up for those 5 games we talked about, you can go 3-2 and get there, then I think you can do that when you should be a better team than I personally think Bama, Tennessee,
South Carolina,
I think, and then you get Texas and Tennessee at home. You should. I think there's a real chance you go 3-2 in those 5. The first half of the schedule is where, to me, it's like, how good is A&M to open the season? And they should be. My question would be, the one thing that's completely rebuilt are the lines of scrimmage.
Yep.
But I don't think you get tested in such a way that that's going to cost you a football game until maybe you go to Baton Rouge. Yep. And by then, hopefully, you should have some momentum going in the trenches.
What do you order at Fertella?
Oh, man. I love the eggplant parmesan. I love the raviolis fritas as an appetizer. What I often get is probably more than anything is the manicotti. It's elite. Just everything about it, just the pasta, the cheeses, everything's so fresh. You got to get the breadsticks every time. So don't go in there. You can eat healthy. I do have some friends that go in there and eat healthy with the chicken, the grilled chicken dishes, and they'll even custom make it for you if you want to add more vegetables. They have some great soups there, but I'd say manicotti with one meatball on the side is kind of the go-to. And then there's a dish that it's called the chicken nose, and it's just like a chicken parm, but it's got cheese on it, but more of an Alfredo sauce than the marinara.
That sounds delicious.
That's delicious. So anyway, yeah, there's a million things.
Daily lunch specials 11 to 3. Stop by Fertella, 3901 South Texas Avenue in Bryan, and discover why it's more than a meal, it's a tradition. Everyone, David Nuño here for Allen Honda. Had a great conversation with them earlier today. John Allen's the owner. He's been here forever. And also their GM, Rusty Skinner, great guy. Wonderful conversation. They're super local. They're a family-owned dealership, not some massive auto group. And they treat their customers like family because they basically are family. They're Aggie alums. They love Aggie sports, and they've been serving the Brazos Valley with integrity, with passion, and commitment to excellence for over 50 years, which is very rare, by the way, for the independents because people trust them. And that's why they've been doing it for such a long time. Whether you're looking to buy, lease, or service your vehicle, you can count on them for transparent, no-pressure experience that puts your needs first. And I can attest to it. Had a great conversation about my own situation with them. Their knowledgeable sales team will help you find the perfect Honda to fit your lifestyle, from fuel-efficient sedans to versatile SUVs. Leasing options are flexible and affordable, making it easy to drive the latest models with confidence. And when it comes to service, their certified technicians only use genuine Honda parts to keep your vehicle running at its best, whether it's routine maintenance for major repairs or whatever it may be. And we know that trust isn't given, it is earned, and that's why generations of local drivers right here in the Brazos Valley and Bryan College Station keep coming back
to Allen Honda. As part of the community with Aggie spirit in their hearts, they are here to make everyone's visit wonderful. So visit their showroom or their service lane and find friendly, efficient, and memorable situations when you go to Allen Honda. Come see why so many College Station and Bryan drivers choose Allen Honda for their automotive needs. And remember, gig 'em. Local pundits here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. This recruiting run A&M is on Billy. I'm going to read you something that Adam Rittenberg said on our show yesterday that I think kind of ties into where we are. I like how they're building their roster, not just to have one run in the playoffs, but to be in the conversation year after year. They've given themselves a chance to be a playoff contender for the foreseeable future. And to me, there's multiple facets to what makes a program elite, right? Mm-hmm. But it feels like they're hitting on the transfer portal, and they're absolutely hitting on the youth movement with their recruiting.
Yeah, they're doing, but you can do both. I mean, that's the thing that I don't understand where this narrative all of a sudden has come up with. I don't know where out of nowhere it's like, oh well, if you're signing a top 5 class, you're doing
spend money elsewhere.
You're burning money on guys that aren't going to play, or you're spending too much percentage. When you people need to stop pocket watching around college sports and realize you have to do both. Look at, and it's a lot of the Longhorn fans because their recruiting class isn't ranked as highly right now. If it ends up there, they'll celebrate it. They'll go crazy, and they won't be worried. If it doesn't, they'll say, "Oh, we're going all portal." Well, you're going to spend less on recruiting and in the portal when you have a more veteran team. A&M last year sunk a lot of resources into keeping guys from going to the NFL that now are about to start NFL careers, and it paid off to the tune of 11-1. Because there is a finite number. Now, the Aggies' number, their cap number is higher now than it was a year ago. So is Texas. So is Oregon. Obviously, new coaching places like LSU. So is OU. I mean, it is what it is. But to act like a team can't afford to do it a certain way or that they're doing it wrong, you are assuming so many things. You're assuming you know what their cap number is. You are assuming what players 50 to 85 are making. You're assuming you know what the depth is making of your roster to try to put together this puzzle. And nobody knows all of that except the people in that building and probably a few very select others, the people in, Tuscaloosa, people in Gainesville, like people, it's still very secretive. And all of you guys that read these numbers about what a player's, forget about valuation, but trying to say what their NIL deal is. And so you've got agents that probably exaggerate deals. They're not sending copies of the deals to these national people that are trying to cover. They've now got these people that are like just almost, they're like infiltrating, trying to cover A&M, Oklahoma, Texas, Texas Tech, TCU, SMU, LSU, Oklahoma State, Tulane, Mississippi State, Georgia, Florida, Virginia. Like they're trying to cover every school's NIL, their baseball coaching changes, the assistant hires at every school, the portal moves by every school, and doing it. They're spread too thin. And they're getting information, and they work really hard at it, but they're getting information from everywhere they can. And it loses a little bit, I think, of the accuracy and stuff a lot of the accuracy when you try to do it. And you know how I know? Because a lot of these type people will call me to try to find out. In other words, I know they don't really know. And that's fine because they're covering everyone. But I'm just saying, like, to try to act like you know how A&M's allocating and whether or not they can allocate enough to sign, Henry N, Meredith or Dobson at corner, and can you get 2 elite safeties in one class? Yeah, you can. And then how can they get 4 DBs of that level in one class? Well, they did it. Well, then that means they can't pay for these. Yeah, they did. Just like on the offensive line, they proved you can go out and get 4 portal additions from the SEC and keep all of your offensive linemen that you want to keep. Every single one of them that they wanted to keep, they kept, meaning coming back. Mm-hmm. And guess what else they're doing? They're going out and they've got 2 5-star offensive linemen committed and going after a 3rd 5-star, not to mention 2 other commits they really like. So you can do it. People at other places probably should focus more on what they do and not worry about how or why. Just like we shouldn't worry about how or why. How is Texas doing all? Now, if you want to say, man, A&M's taking too many D linemen in that 22 class, they can't all play. They're going to transfer. That's fine. You can say all that, but it doesn't change the fact that that's how they chose to allocate and that they can afford it. And in this case, with A&M, to act like Mike Elko and his crew didn't go out and attack the portal and are instead spending that on high school players, it's stupid. They're doing both. They're doing both, and they kept their roster intact in terms of who did they lose that they really wanted to keep? Like Torian York to the NFL?
Maybe.
If his price tag wasn't, unreasonable.
Maybe Rylan. Maybe.
Probably Rylan Kennedy. You're right. Florida State. So like let's even say 2-3 players off of 50-something guys coming back, 60 players coming back, whatever that number was. So they kept everyone they wanted to keep, essentially. They went portal, and they were loading up high school with a top 5 class, which is actually number 1 right now, and could stay there. But the point is, like, nobody's talking when they're going and signing or committing these players that aren't as highly regarded, like the 3 they added this week.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys aren't. I mean, Ards, we've been talking about a while. He's pretty coveted, but I mean, we're not talking about these 5 stars that are getting people around the country to kind of pop up and go, oh my God, what are they doing there? You know, the 3 they added this week at linebacker, athlete, and defensive end are just guys they really wanted. But no one will make a deal about that because they don't think that they're commanding 7 figures, which honestly still very few are at that level.
All right, we'll hit a break. Final segment on the other side. You're listening to TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. I wish I had Olin here for it because he loves energy drinks. Catalyst Citrus Spark. This is one of the new flavors out there. Whether you're grinding through workouts, cramming for a test, or closing in on a deal, or getting ready for TexAgs Live, you never know, right? Fast becoming the go-to fuel for Aggies everywhere. 0 sugar, I'm all in for that. Or synthetic sweeteners, no artificial colors or flavors. Catalyst delivers clean, high-performance energy with smooth, crisp taste that is never syrupy, designed for both health and hustle. You want to get going? You use this Catalyst right here. It's about pure energy and pure results. And what sets them apart? Packed with premium nootropics blended to boost focus, clarity, and mental stamina. I need this. I'm in, guys. I'm in. Plus, with plant-based caffeine, vitamin B12, B6, Catalyst supports metabolism and energy production, making it more than a drink. It's your lifestyle training partner. Built for competitors on the field, Catalyst fuels strength, focus, and pure results. Buy now at drinkcatalyst.com. That is drinkcatalyst.com. Train harder, think sharper, pure results. It's Catalyst.
Howdy, Ags. This is Texas A&M quarterback Marcel Reed, and you're listening to TexAgs Live on the Zone, 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
Back here on TexAgs Live, Billy, let's close out with the, we talked about the Jason Kelly move a couple days ago, but how quickly do you think they'll find their pitching coach? Do you think, I mean, Brauninger earlier categorized that they're not in a hurry, they want to get the right guy.
Yeah, I mean, we say that all the time. It's true. Like, that's more important, but there are times when you do want it to be both. Because of this portal thing and because of the need, I'm sorry, like, I do think the right pitching coach can make a lot of these guys better, for sure, but I also think you need better arms. I think they had good arms. They did. Like, I mean, like, Moss and Sadeo, you had good arms. Like, not to mention all the guys that got hurt. but you've got to upgrade. Like, you look at this roster as it is today, they've got to be really aggressive in the portal in terms of your lineup 1 to 9 and your pitching staff. So the quicker the better. There's no question about that. I mean, we can't. You can sit there and say, like, it's more important, and it is, because someone that's coaching your pitchers from game 1 all the way to hopefully Omaha, but into a regional. You saw what USC's pitching coach was able to do. You think those guys, that guy didn't have a major impact and role on how they handled that weekend, mentally and in terms of like when they were using guys and what they got out of them. So yeah, I mean, it is a massive deal, and it is the most important. But pitching coaches look a lot better when they have more pitchers and better pitchers, and pitchers with real SEC stuff. There's some guys in that clubhouse that have it. You need to get a guy in time to add some more, and you can really kind of revamp the look of that pitching staff overnight. And again, you can make a lot of those individuals better snap of a finger with the right hire. So that is actually the most important. And then you go from there. I've seen too many coaches rush a hire and very quickly realize they probably shouldn't have rushed it. And I've seen coaches be really patient. And sometimes, though, I'll be honest, I've seen this. Sometimes that pickiness and patience can backfire. I don't know how many football hires I've seen. I've seen probably hundreds of them. And I'm talking about assistant coaches.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can do it too fast. Sometimes you can be too picky. And you end up missing out on some guys, wasting valuable time, and probably coming out worse than you would have had you not eliminated some people where you have to go and you go, okay, no. Okay, what's left? Oh, man, I could have had this guy on my first phone call. This is who I'm going to have to hire. And then you spin it and you pretend that's not what happened, but it is. And so in this instance, I think the key is to find that balance of both. He needs to do it pretty quickly, but get it right. It's not easy. It's not an easy task for a young coach, and that's kind of one of the things that you deal with. Like, I think hiring Jason Kelly was part of that. Was Mike Early's network wasn't as big. It's not. By the way, it's not nearly what it is today.
Right.
You know,
And he also needed a guy
even 2 years ago.
He needed a guy with head coaching experience to his side.
And now he can go a different route.
Yeah.
And I think he knows a lot more people in the business. And I think you're going to see that not only with the candidates, but with who he ends up eventually hiring. And I happen to think it'll be fairly quickly, in my opinion.
In about 30 seconds, looking forward to the game this weekend here at Caulfield.
Yeah, I am. I'm going to go something different, something really cool. I heard Palomo, my man on here, talking about it. Got me all fired up, him and G. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So I love having events at Kyle Field. And you know, I went on and on about the concerts. We need more of those. Savannah Bananas was incredible. This is going to be incredible. I love it. So looking forward to it.
Thank you, Billy. We'll see everybody on Monday. Thanks for watching. We'll see you then.